Hey race fans, welcome back to Glory Days Grill Turn 5 Turnaround for part 2 of our interview with defending Steel Block Bandit points champion Walker Arthur here at his shop in Forest, Virginia, just a few days away from opening round Saturday at County Line Raceway. Now Walker, in the earlier segment we were talking about different tracks, County Line Raceway, Eastside Speedway, Natural Bridge Speedway, but as you were saying, you know, even though we had the 7 races with the 2 tracks, Natural Bridge Eastside, you thought a lot of other tracks would be very influential. So talk about some of the other tracks that are on the schedule. Obviously Hagerstown Speedway, our third race of the season. We're going back to Roaring Knob where you picked up a victory. We're going to Allegheny County twice where you won. Of course we got Thunder Valley Speedway, Central Pennsylvania Speedway, and if I'm leaving out a track right now, forgive me race fans, but they're
Virginia Motor Speedway.
Virginia Motor Speedway. Yeah, yes. The Sawyer's pristine facility, yes, Virginia Motor Speedway, going back there July the 9th.
Yes, sir.
That was a great race, great facility. We're going back to Virginia Motor Speedway. Didn't mean to leave that out, but talk about some of these other tracks and the ones that you might have circled on the schedule that you think you're going to do very well at.
Definitely Virginia Motor Speedway. I'm looking forward to going back there. Hopefully we perform a little bit better, have a little bit better shot than we did last year. Roaring Knob, as you said, came out of there very fortunate last year. Hopefully we can have another great run there. The 2 tracks in Central PA, I've never been to them, never heard of them, so I'm looking forward to going there. Hagerstown, I think we've got a really good motor program for Hagerstown and Cumberland. I think we'll be able to really be on par with the motor program, barring we don't have any problems before those races. So hopefully all the tracks we go to, I'll be a top 5 car if I'm lucky.
All right, well, go on with that. You're talking about you feel good about the schedule, and despite, you know, struggles you may have had at certain tracks, you feel good thinking you can be a top 5 car. How confident that you can go back in and repeat and become the 2011 Steel Block Bandit points champion?
I would say that would have to depend on parts failures. There's so many things that can play different roles in that. Anything could happen. Tires can go down, parts can fail, motors can fail, you can have driver failures, all those things, and it's just way too early to tell. Hopefully I can minimize those failures, as fortunate as I was last year, and we can be fortunate enough to be part of the championship run again this year.
There haven't been too many driver failures now, has it?
There were a couple. We had a failure at Beckley, just a couple errors here and there where the driver, we should have fired him instead of the car.
Yeah, but then you wouldn't have won the championship. So.
It's give and take. You got to give and take.
When you look at the list of drivers that have come in, and this year we've got the Platinum membership, which is the prospective full-time drivers, and of course we even have a driver or 2 that's on the standard membership. You know, I don't know if I'm really putting you on the spot or not, but when you look at that list, are there 2, 3, 4 names that jump out at you that you think is going to be a contender, not just for race wins, but contending with you for the championship?
Like I say, I think there's several great drivers, several from last year and several newcomers. I'd say DJ Troutman will probably be a big hit. I'd say he'll be tough to compete with weekly. Booper Bear, I'm sure will be. As everybody stated, Kyle Merkel, I would assume he'll have a breakout year again. Bruce Kane, Joey Level, all the guys from last year who were up top, I think as long as they don't have any parts failures and engine failures, any one of those guys could come in and put a pretty big hit on us.
Do you see a situation where, with the influx of talent, and I really think this is probably the best crop of drivers we've had register for the Bandit Series this year. But every time you go to a track, obviously you have the local drivers, they're defending track champion, and they're top 4 or 5, like it coming a county line, you know, we're talking about Batten and Damon Kotke, and the list goes on down there. Do you think you might see a situation this year where you're going to see some well-financed teams with some great drivers and great crews that are going to be nervous about making the show because there's just so much talent coming into the Steel Block Bandit Series?
I don't know that they'll be nervous about making shows. They could be. Like I say, everybody has off weeks. Everybody has tracks they don't agree with. Hopefully myself, I'm not put in that situation. Hopefully I'll be fortunate enough to have a provisional, but I think everybody will have a good opportunity. I think the cars that deserve to make the races will be in the races, and that's the way it should be. The format that the Steel Block Bandits runs gives everybody a pretty good shot. You've got a heat race, you've got a B. The cars that usually should be in the feature are there.
Now, I want to bring up another topic, and I'm not race fans trying to make more of this than what it is, because maybe it's nothing to it. But I've noticed already this year something that's going on. County Line Raceway, last month, of course, that's our first race of the season. You were down there, Mitch Miller, a Bandit driver, was down there and competed in that race. Last weekend at Eastside Speedway, our second race of the season, you were there, Booper Bear was there, Chris Looney and a host of others. We've had other drivers like Tanner Kerr, I believe Bo and Trevor Feathers went up to Hagerstown and practiced, because that's the third race of the season.
Sir.
It almost seems like Bandit drivers already are saying, you know what, before the season starts, let's go to a track where they're practicing and maybe we can get a little test session in. Am I making more of that than what it is? Does it seem like Bandit drivers are already saying, you know what, we need to get some test sessions in at some of these tracks we're competing at because of the level of competition?
You're exactly right. I think a driver wouldn't be very intelligent not to think he needs to go out and test and make sure his car is race ready for the first time he goes to the track. And definitely going to these tracks where we're going to be racing at on one occasion or multiple occasions is definitely, if you're not doing it, I think you're in trouble.
So you got to stay ahead of the game.
Yes, sir. You need to keep up, and if you're not doing it, your competitors are.
Yeah, exactly right. Again, I didn't know if I was making more of that, but that's just something I had noticed with some of the Steel Block Bandit drivers.
You're very correct.
Going in, to this season, and your confidence level is up, and I think you've got a good chance at maybe repeating. Now, I've got to bring up something. 2009, you did not join the Steel Block Bandit series.
Yes, sir.
And you still score points, but of course it's like it is now, race fans. We keep the Steel Block Bandit drivers are the only ones eligible that could win the championship. And pretty much now that's how it's going to shake out anyway. But that year you were not a Bandit member. I think set out a race or two, still finished second in the overall points. Of course, Christian Looney won the 09 championship, and I'm not saying he wouldn't have won anyway. I'm not taking anything away from him. He did a great job that season. But you look back and say, if I had went ahead and joined the series, maybe race full-time, I might be looking at maybe 3 championships in a row, or is that just water over the bridge and you got to let it go?
Really it is, because we had no intentions of running any series for a championship that year. We'd run for a championship the year before, and it really mentally, not so much financially, but mentally and physically for myself, that drained me and put me definitely not wanting to run for a championship in 09, not being locked down going anywhere. So, no, it doesn't bother me to see Christian have gotten that. That was a congratulations to him.
Right.
And congratulations.
Exactly right. And he did a great job in 09. All right, race fans, we're going to come back probably for a short segment 3 to wrap it up. Stay tuned for more with Walker Arthur on Glory Days Grill Turn 5 Turnaround.